Over the rainbow, for millions those words represent hope and magic. But for Judy Garland, they masked a lifetime of pain, exploitation, and unimaginable darkness. In June 1969, the world lost one of its brightest stars when she died from a tragic barbiturate overdose in London. Thousands attended her funeral. She was buried far from the glitz of Hollywood, in Ferncliff Cemetery, New York. Then, 48 years later, in a move that shocked fans worldwide, her body was dug up in secret and flown thousands of miles back to Hollywood Forever Cemetery. The family says it was simply because there wasn't enough room for her children to be buried beside her. But many are asking, is that the real reason? Or does this silent relocation hide deeper family wounds, Hollywood's desire to reclaim its most tragic icon, and secrets that have remained buried for decades? Chapter 1. The little girl who was never allowed to be a child. Over the Rainbow promised a world of dreams and escape, but for young Frances Ethel Gumm, reality was a never-ending performance with no curtain call. Born on June 10, 1922 in Grand Rapids, Minnesota, she came into this world already carrying the weight of someone else's broken dreams. Her mother, Ethel Gumm, a former vaudeville performer who never quite made it big, saw her three daughters as her ticket to the spotlight. From the tender age of just 2.5, little Frances, affectionately called Baby, was pushed onto the stage alongside her older sisters as the Gumm sisters. A tiny girl in sparkling costumes and tap shoes, singing and dancing late into the night in smoky theaters across the Midwest. While other children played outside, Frances spent her days traveling in worn-out cars, sleeping in cheap hotels, and performing for whatever applause she could earn. Her childhood was measured not in playgrounds or school bells, but in rehearsals, curtain calls, and her mother's constant pressure. Ethel made it clear, love and attention came only when the lights were on and the audience was watching. By the time she was 10, the demands had already become overwhelming. To keep her energetic through endless shows and long road trips, her mother began giving her special pep medications to stay awake and lively. When the shows finally ended and exhaustion hit, other pills were used to force sleep so she could wake up and do it all over again the next day. It was a brutal cycle that stole her rest and her innocence far too early. In 1935, at only 13 years old, Frances was signed by the mighty Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer studio. They gave her a brand new name, Judy Garland, and a whole new image to match. The chubby, natural-looking girl from Minnesota was told she needed to transform. Studio executives, including the powerful Louis B. Mayer, demanded she lose weight quickly. They put her on strict diets, sometimes little more than soup and black coffee, while keeping her working long hours under bright studio lights. The Hollywood studio system in those days was like a powerful factory. Young performers, like Judy and her friend Mickey Rooney, were expected to deliver hit after hit with almost no rest. Days on set often stretched from early morning until late at night, sometimes 18 hours or more. To help them keep going, the studio provided medications to stay alert and slim during filming, and other aids to help them sleep when the cameras finally stopped. Judy later spoke painfully about this exhausting routine that left her body and mind completely drained. The making of The Wizard of Oz in 1938 and 1939 became the defining moment of both her greatest triumph and deepest scars. At just 16 and 17 years old, Judy was cast as Dorothy, a role that would make her a legend. But behind the magic of the yellow brick road and ruby slippers was an incredibly difficult production. She endured extremely long filming days, uncomfortable harnesses for flying scenes, and intense pressure to look perfect on camera. The bright lights, heavy costumes, and relentless schedule pushed her to the limit. Imagine this young girl, still a teenager, standing alone on that enormous soundstage, singing Over the Rainbow with all her heart while battling exhaustion and fear inside. The film became a massive success and an eternal classic. But for Judy, it marked the beginning of a lifelong struggle with the very system that had created her stardom. As the years passed, the pattern continued. Judy starred in one hit movie after another, Meet Me in St. Louis, The Pirate, and many more. But the personal cost was enormous. She walked through 5 turbulent marriages, battled deep emotional pain, and faced repeated moments of despair that led to hospitalizations. The same industry that had celebrated her as a child star gradually turned away when she needed support the most. By her late 20s, MGM had let her go, viewing her as difficult after years of pushing her beyond her limits. Hollywood had taken everything, her childhood, her health, and her peace of mind, then moved on to the next bright young face. Judy fought hard for comebacks, delivering unforgettable live performances like her legendary 1961 Carnegie Hall concert, where audiences stood and cheered for minutes. Yet behind the powerful voice and dazzling smile was a woman still searching for the simple happiness she once sang about so beautifully. On classic Hollywood communities across Reddit and Facebook, fans and film historians often describe Judy Garland as one of the clearest examples of how the old studio system treated its youngest talents. They call her story a heartbreaking reminder of ambition, pressure, and the heavy price paid by so many child stars of that golden era. The girl who sang so hopefully about Somewhere Over the Rainbow spent her entire life chasing that promise, only to discover that the rainbow she dreamed of was far more fragile than anyone wanted to admit. Chapter 3: A Lonely End in London, Shadows, Suspicions, and Unanswered Questions. After years of chasing that elusive rainbow, Judy Garland's final chapter unfolded far from the bright lights of Hollywood, in a quiet London apartment that would become the stage for one of her most heartbreaking scenes. In March 1969, at the age of 47, Judy married for the 5th time. Her new husband was Mickey Deans, a 35-year-old discotheque manager who was 12 years younger. They had known each other for a few years, and to many who watched from the outside, this union seemed like a chance for stability in her later years. But behind closed doors, the marriage would last only 3 short months. On the morning of June 22, 1969, Mickey Deans made a devastating discovery. He found Judy collapsed on the bathroom floor of their rented home in London's Belgravia district. She was just 47 years old. The official ruling from the coroner came soon after: an accidental and cautious self-overdosage of sleeping medication, the kind she had relied on for years to manage her exhaustion and emotional pain. Fans were stunned. The bright, hopeful voice that had sung Over the Rainbow with such power and longing was suddenly silenced forever. But as the days passed, whispers began to grow. Questions lingered in the air, fueled by family accounts and longtime observers. Why was she left alone that night? Some who were close to the situation wondered if Mickey had stepped out, leaving her with easy access to the medications she had struggled with for so long. In her memoir, Judy's daughter Lorna Luft wrote openly about her initial feelings of blame toward Deans after learning the details of that tragic night. Judy's 3rd husband, Sid Luft, went even further in his own writings, expressing deep suspicions about the circumstances and suggesting he believed there may have been more to the story than a simple accident. Rumors and theories swirled in the years that followed. Some wondered about Mickey's quick actions after the loss. Reports suggested he moved fast to arrange things that could benefit him, including discussions around a book deal sharing Judy's story. Fans on forums and in classic Hollywood communities still debate these points today. Was there opportunism in the air? Did those closest to her feel shut out during those final moments? One particularly haunting detail emerged later. According to accounts shared by her daughter Liza Minnelli in recent years, Judy's remains were not laid to rest immediately. There was a significant delay, nearly a year, before she was finally buried. During that time, questions about finances and arrangements hung heavy. Some stories suggest Frank Sinatra quietly stepped in to help cover the costs of the funeral and burial so that Judy could be laid to rest with dignity, as her family was facing serious financial difficulties at the time. The funeral itself took place on June 27, 1969, at the Frank E. Campbell Funeral Home in New York City. More than 20,000 grieving fans lined the streets, waiting for hours to pay their respects. It was an outpouring of love from people whose lives she had touched so deeply. James Mason, her co-star from A Star is Born, delivered a moving eulogy. Notably, the service was held in New York rather than Hollywood. Liza Minnelli, who took charge of many arrangements, felt strongly that her mother had grown disillusioned with the way the film industry had treated her in her later years. A grand Hollywood farewell was turned down. Judy was interred at Ferncliff Cemetery in Hartsdale, just outside New York. As the years went by, those close to Judy continued to carry complicated emotions. Liza, Lorna, and their brother Joey all expressed different layers of pain and reflection about their mother's final days. The suspicions around Mickey Deans lingered in family conversations and public discussions for decades. On Reddit threads, Facebook groups dedicated to classic Hollywood, and Instagram comment sections, fans still pieced together the puzzle. Could more have been done? Was Hollywood's long shadow partly responsible for the struggles that followed her from childhood into adulthood? Or was this simply the heartbreaking end to a life lived at full volume under impossible pressure? Even in death, Judy Garland remained a figure surrounded by both immense love and lingering shadows. The woman who had given so much of herself to the world left behind not just unforgettable performances, but also a trail of unanswered questions that continue to fascinate and sadden those who admire her. The little girl from Minnesota who dreamed of rainbows had flown over one final time, but the landing was far quieter and lonelier than anyone who loved her would have wished. Chapter 4. Even in death, the spotlight would not let her rest. After nearly 5 decades of quiet rest in the hills just outside New York, Judy Garland's story took one final, unexpected turn. A chapter that proved even the grave could not shield her from the pull of Hollywood and unresolved family emotions. In the freezing cold of a January night in 2017, almost 48 years after Judy Garland took her last breath, a secretive and almost cinematic operation unfolded at Ferncliff Cemetery in Hartsdale, New York. The entire cemetery was cloaked in total darkness, broken only by a few weak security lights that cast long, ghostly shadows across the frost-covered grass and weathered tombstones. Well past midnight, a plain, unmarked white van crept slowly through the back gates with its headlights completely off, trying to avoid any unwanted attention. A small team of cemetery staff and private funeral handlers moved like shadows, silent, efficient, intense. There were no cameras, no media crews, no public announcement whatsoever. Just the crunch of boots on frozen ground and the occasional low whisper of instructions cutting through the icy air. According to multiple local eyewitness accounts and fan reports that later exploded across online forums, the team went straight to Judy's original crypt. With solemn but hurried respect, they opened the mausoleum, carefully extracted her casket, and loaded it into the waiting van. Some observers claimed the entire exhumation took less than 30 minutes, a lightning-fast, almost surgical operation that felt more like a covert mission than a family farewell. The white van then vanished into the night as quietly as it had arrived, disappearing down the dark roads like a phantom. The nighttime exhumation still sparked wild rumors. From there, the journey turned even more secretive. The casket was rushed to JFK Airport and loaded onto a specially arranged flight heading west. More than 4,500 kilometers later, it landed in Los Angeles. The remains were taken directly to the iconic Hollywood Forever Cemetery and placed inside the newly created Judy Garland Pavilion, an elegant semi-private family mausoleum alcove within the historic Beth Olam Jewish section. With its beautiful marble walls, soft lighting, and generous space reserved for her children and future generations, it was a far grander resting place than the one she had known for nearly 5 decades. After nearly 48 years in a sealed mausoleum crypt, forensic experts say Judy's remains would likely have been mostly skeletal, with dry, leathery remnants of tissue. The original embalming and stable crypt conditions helped preserve the structure far better than a traditional underground burial. Hair, nails, and pieces of burial clothing can often remain intact. The transfer was handled with complete professionalism and dignity by specialists. The nighttime exhumation still sparked wild rumors. As soon as news of the move broke, online communities lit up with intense speculation. On Reddit threads, classic Hollywood Facebook groups, and conspiracy-minded forums, fans went wild with theories far darker than the official story. Some claim the midnight exhumation was deliberately hidden because the family was terrified of public outrage, or worse, that they were covering up the disturbing condition of the casket after 48 years underground. Wild whispers suggested that when the crypt was open, the team allegedly discovered unexpected items or damage that made them want to finish the job as fast as humanly possible and get out before anyone could ask questions. Even more shocking theories accuse Hollywood Forever Cemetery of actively pushing for the move, viewing Judy as a golden opportunity to create a major tourist magnet. They wanted her body back in Hollywood so they could profit off her tragedy forever. One popular comment read, "Fans pointed to the cemetery's famous movie screenings and events, claiming Judy's pavilion was deliberately placed to draw thousands of extra visitors each year. Others revived old family wounds, suggesting the nighttime rush was because Liza and her siblings finally wanted to take full control after Mickey Deans had allegedly dominated her affairs at the time of her death. Some extreme voices even floated the idea that the move was meant to symbolically reclaim Judy as Hollywood's ultimate tragic icon, turning her into an eternal money-making symbol long after she could no longer speak for herself. The placement in the Beth Olam Jewish section added even more fuel to the fire. Although Judy was not Jewish, she had 2 Jewish husbands. Conspiracy theorists online speculated this was no coincidence, claiming it was a calculated or even occult decision tied to hidden family or industry connections. One real and heartbreaking story that emerged. A superfan flew all the way from California and paid over $15,500 for the burial plot right next to Judy's original crypt, dreaming of resting beside his idol for eternity. Days later, he learned she had already been secretly exhumed and moved across the country. His devastation went viral and only added to the sense of shock surrounding the entire operation. Whether any of these darker theories hold truth or are simply the product of passionate fans piecing together fragments, one thing is undeniable. The secret nighttime exhumation turned Judy Garland's final journey into one last dramatic scene worthy of the Hollywood she both loved and feared. Yet beneath that straightforward story lay deeper layers of emotion and history that many close to Judy had carried for decades. For years after her death, Mickey Deans, her 5th and final husband, had been the one managing her affairs and final arrangements. According to statements and memoirs from her children, the family often felt sidelined during those painful days in 1969. The decision to move her remains decades later was seen by some as a way to quietly correct that earlier lack of control, to finally give Judy the dignity and placement they believed she truly deserved. It was their chance to bring her back to the city where her greatest triumphs and struggles had played out, the place that had shaped her life more than any other. Under the soft California sunlight, in one of Hollywood's most famous resting grounds, Judy was given a beautiful pavilion bearing her name, a permanent tribute surrounded by flowers, tributes from fans, and the gentle presence of other entertainment legends. After a lifetime of being moved from place to place by studios, managers, and circumstances, she had at last found a grander, more fitting stage for her eternal rest. Some fans felt it was beautiful and right. "She's finally home," they wrote, believing Hollywood was where her spirit truly belonged. Others were more hesitant. "She had peace in New York for nearly 50 years, one commenter noted. "Why disturb her now?" In the end, the relocation of Judy Garland's remains became more than a logistical family matter. It symbolized the unfinished business of a life lived in the public eye. Even after death, the forces that had shaped her, Family love mixed with complication, Hollywood's enduring claim on its stars, and the public's deep emotional attachment continued to move her story forward. The little girl who once sang so beautifully about flying over the rainbow had made one last journey. This time it was not under the harsh studio lights or the weight of medication, but carried by the wishes of her children and the persistent pull of the city that had both made and broken her. Whether this final resting place truly brought her the peace she long deserved remains a question only her spirit could answer. But in the hearts of millions, Judy Garland continues to shine, over the rainbow and far beyond the grave. Chapter 5, A Living Legacy, Judy Garland's Resting Place in 2026 and the Family's Quiet Reflections. Today, nearly a decade after her return to Hollywood, Judy Garland's final resting place has become far more than just a grave. It is a living monument that continues to draw people from around the world and stir quiet conversations within her family. As of 2026, the Judy Garland Pavilion at Hollywood Forever Cemetery stands as an elegant, sunlit alcove inside the historic Abbey of the Psalms Mausoleum. Set within the peaceful Beth Olam section, the space features beautiful marble detailing, soft natural light, and a warm, intimate atmosphere that feels both respectful and personal. Visitors throughout 2025 and early 2026 consistently describe finding fresh red poppies, handwritten notes, small rainbow-themed tokens, and photographs left by fans who still feel a deep emotional connection to her. Recent grave tour videos shared online show the pavilion well cared for, with regular maintenance and an almost constant presence of quiet admirers paying their respects. What makes this location especially meaningful in the present day is how it has evolved into a true family gathering point. Liza Minnelli, Lorna Luft, and Joey Luft, along with their children and grandchildren, now have a shared space where future generations can come together. Family sources indicate that this arrangement has brought a sense of comfort and unity that was harder to achieve in previous years. Private visits by her children have been kept low-key, but those close to the family speak of it as a place where healing and remembrance happen in a more peaceful way than before. In recent years, members of the family have occasionally shared subtle reflections about Judy's enduring presence. Lorna Luft, in particular, has continued to honor her mother through performances and interviews, often touching on the complex emotions that come with preserving such a powerful legacy while navigating personal memories. Liza Minnelli, despite her own health challenges, has been seen as a guiding force in keeping the family's connection to Judy strong and private. These quiet family moments highlight a shift from the turbulence of earlier decades to a more reflective, protective approach toward their mother's memory. Online communities remain actively engaged with Judy's story in 2026. Classic Hollywood forums and fan groups frequently share updated photos from the pavilion, discuss the emotional impact of visiting in person, and exchange stories about how her music and films continue to influence new generations. Some fans have noted the symbolic power of her location in the Beth Olam section, viewing it as a meaningful thread connecting different chapters of her personal life. Others focus on the way the cemetery itself has grown as a cultural destination, with outdoor screenings, events, and tours that keep Judy's name alive in a vibrant, modern context. Interestingly, new whispers and thoughtful discussions still emerge from time to time. A few longtime observers wonder about the long-term plans for the pavilion and how the family envisions future gatherings there. There are also occasional mentions of how Judy's story continues to inspire conversations about the pressures faced by performers across generations. These reflections rarely turn into controversy, but instead show a respectful curiosity about the woman behind the legend. As we move through 2026, the Judy Garland Pavilion has become a destination that blends quiet reverence with living celebration. Tour guides at Hollywood Forever often pause here during walks, sharing stories of her resilience and talent. Fans from different countries leave messages in multiple languages, proving that her voice still reaches far beyond her time. The site feels less like an ending and more like a continuing chapter, one where her spirit is honored not through grand spectacles but through small, heartfelt acts of remembrance. For those who have followed Judy's journey from the eager child performer to the legendary yet troubled star, this current chapter offers a sense of gentle resolution. The little girl who once sang with such hope about somewhere over the rainbow now rests in a place where that same hope can be felt by anyone who visits. In 2026, her pavilion stands as proof that some lights never truly fade. They simply find a new way to shine, drawing family, fans, and future storytellers into their warm glow. Her story no longer needs dramatic moves or major revelations. Instead, it lives on in the steady stream of visitors, the family's private moments of connection, and the timeless music that still plays in the hearts of millions. Judy Garland's final resting place has become exactly what she might have wished for, a peaceful home where her magic continues, undisturbed yet never forgotten. Chapter 5, The Rainbow's End, Legacy, Symbolism, and the Unfinished Conversation. After following Judy Garland's incredible journey, from a child pushed into the spotlight through decades of dazzling performances and private struggles, to that final quiet return to Hollywood, we are left with a story that reaches far beyond one woman's life. It becomes a mirror reflecting the dreams, costs, and complexities of fame itself. The decision to bring Judy back to Hollywood nearly 50 years after her passing carries powerful symbolism. For many, it represents a long-delayed homecoming, a chance for the industry that had shaped her from such a young age to finally embrace her on her own terms. After spending her entire career giving everything to audiences while battling the immense pressures placed upon her, this final move feels like a quiet acknowledgement of everything she endured. It is as though Hollywood, in its own imperfect way, was trying to make amends by welcoming her home among the legends who understood her world best. Today, Judy Garland stands as one of the most enduring icons of the 20th century. To millions in the LGBTQ+ community, she remains a beloved gay icon, a symbol of strength, vulnerability, and survival. Her music, particularly the timeless Over the Rainbow, continues to inspire people across generations who feel they are still searching for their own place of belonging. That single song, delivered with such raw emotion by a young Judy, has become an anthem of hope for anyone who has ever felt different, lost, or misunderstood. Even in 2026, new artists, documentaries, and stage productions continue to draw from her life, proving her influence has only grown deeper with time. Yet her story also sparks important and sometimes uncomfortable conversations across the internet. In YouTube comment sections beneath classic clips, in Reddit forums dedicated to old Hollywood, and in active Facebook groups celebrating cinema's golden age, people regularly reflect on the darker patterns within the entertainment industry. Many viewers point out how the system has long had a way of consuming extraordinary talent at a young age, pushing performers to their limits for profit, and then, even after they are gone, continuing to benefit from their names and stories. Discussions often circle back to how child stars especially carry burdens that follow them throughout their lives and beyond. Judy's experience is frequently mentioned as a heartbreaking example of resilience in the face of overwhelming odds. These online conversations show that Judy's legacy is not just about nostalgia or beautiful performances. It serves as a cautionary tale and a source of empathy. Fans share personal stories of how her music helped them through difficult times, while also debating how the industry has, and has not, changed since her era. Some ask whether modern streaming stars face similar invisible pressures, just packaged differently. Others celebrate the progress that has been made in mental health awareness and artist protections, while still feeling sadness for those like Judy who carried so much alone. As we close this chapter, one truth stands out clearly. Judy Garland gave the world magic at a tremendous personal cost. She poured her heart into every note, every performance, and every moment in the spotlight, even when her own inner world was filled with storms. Her final resting place in the heart of Hollywood feels like both a celebration and a reminder, a place where her spirit can rest surrounded by the industry that defined her, while her voice continues to lift others toward their own rainbows. Judy never truly left the rainbow she sang about with such longing, but the price she paid to share that light with Garland world was heavier than most of us will ever know. Hollywood took so much from her during her lifetime, and in many ways it continues to hold on to her story even now. Her journey reminds us to cherish the artists who move us, to look deeper than the glamour, and to remember the human heart behind the legend. Thank you for watching this deep dive into the life and lasting mystery surrounding Judy Garland. If her story touched you, please give this video a like, subscribe to the channel for more untold stories from Hollywood's golden era, and turn on notifications so you never miss an upload. Now, we'd love to hear from you in the comments. What do you think about this final chapter in Judy's story? Does her return to Hollywood feel like the right ending, or does it raise even more questions for you? Drop your thoughts below, and remember, somewhere over the rainbow, dreams really do come true, even if the path there is far more difficult than the song suggests. Until next time, keep searching for your own rainbow.